This is CBC Here and Now.
Tonight, a woman is found dead in a home in St. John's.
Emergency crews found her after responding to a call. We have the latest on the investigation and
lack of access to supports when they are in crisis, and really a reliance often on other prisoners to deal with those issues.
I believe there should be some mental health nurses in the prisons now, not a year down the road.
A senator who fights for the rights of inmates meets the parent of a woman who died while incarcerated and tours HMP.
Good evening, I'm Carolyn Stokes.
And I'm Mariana Kelland. And we're starting tonight with tragic news in St. John's.
A woman was found dead inside a city center home early this afternoon. She was found after fire officials responded to an emergency call.
Here Now's Kate McGilfrey is at the scene just off of Elizabeth Avenue. Kate, what can you tell us about what happened?
Well, there are still a lot of questions about what exactly happened here today, but here's what we know. At about 1:20 p.m., emergency services were called to this house directly behind me. It's a small attached home on Copperwaite Court near Anderson Avenue. RNC Constable Jeff Higdon says that after emergency services arrived, they entered the home and made a tragic discovery.
When emergency crews responded and arrived on scene, they did locate a body inside of the home. We regret to inform that the individual was deceased or pronounced deceased here at the time.
The fire is being described as small, and from all appearances, the house is completely unscathed, with no visible damage and no sign that there is a fire here at all. It's not exactly clear what happened inside.
Well, what I'm understanding is that there wasn't significant damage due to any fire as such, but there was smoke, so it's possible that smoke may have been a factor here.
The fire caused a number of households to be evacuated. Among the people who were put out of their homes was neighbor Jeff Dwyer, who watched everything unfold today. He lives just 2 doors down from where the woman was living. Dwyer said he was woken by an alarm and could smell a gas-like smell, but police say there's no indication of a gas leak.
When they got here, they tried to knock on the end unit there with no answer, and then they ended up breaking in the window, and took about an hour for any of them to go in with Mrs. And as far as I know, she was injured.
As for the woman, police still haven't confirmed her age or her identity. Dwyer believes she was in her 50s.
As far as I know, she lives there alone. I mean, she's usually always there, all day, every day, so that's why we told him, you should be able to get an answer from her, while we were worried when she wouldn't answer the door. And I know she has a son.
Dwyer says the experience was nerve-wracking and has shown him that anything can happen in the blink of an eye. As you can see, there are no emergency services vehicles left here today. Police have told us that with their major crimes unit and fire investigator, they've commenced an investigation into exactly what happened here. Reporting live from St. John's, I'm Kate McGilvrey for Here and Now.
The recreational salmon fishery on the island is now catch and release only. Yesterday, federal scientists recommended that no fish be retained due to low salmon numbers. Today, DFO said it accepts that recommendation, so salmon anglers go from being able to keep 1 fish to none. The catch and release limit will still remain at 3 fish per day. A review of Labrador salmon rivers happens next week.
Financial problems continue to mount for Burry's Shipyard in Clarenville. The company has filed a notice under the Bankruptcy and Insolvency Act. Deloitte Restructuring has been appointed the family-owned business's insolvency trustee. In a letter to creditors, Deloitte says Burry's has until early next month to either make a proposal to its creditors or to ask the court to give it an extension on its loans. Burry's laid off over 100 workers earlier this year after the province pulled a contract to repair the MV Gallipoli.
Well, their picket line may still be up, but locked out workers at a Gander manufacturing company have won a victory. Some union members will be eligible for employment insurance payouts. A federal tribunal decided that DJ Composite's actions were closer to a layoff than a lockout. The company locked out its workers just minutes after they took a strike vote.
19 months into a labor dispute, just getting strike pay a week, it's huge. It was a monumental victory for us as a union, as workers here that spent almost 19 months on a picket line right now. So to get up to a years of EI come at this time was great news for us.
I'm Garrett Berry in Gander, and I'm making a couple of new friends today. I'll tell you about these little guys and their road back to the wild a little bit later on Here and Now.
A Canadian senator who fights for inmate rights was inside Her Majesty's Penitentiary this morning. Kim Pate first stopped at the Correctional Centre for Women in Clarenville yesterday before meeting with the Inmate Committee at HMP today. 4 recent deaths in those facilities has strengthened the call for improving prison conditions. Pate says she went down to the segregation area of the penitentiary. No one was being housed there, but she says the smell of cleaner and ammonia was in the air. So freshly clean, she says, the floor was still wet. Pate says changes need to be made now to the system to prevent further prison deaths.
When I hear people saying, you know, we should have a new jail here, and then I hear that there's inadequate mental health services, and most of the people in jail have mental health services, and most of the staff working in the jail are saying what we really need here is people to have access to addiction and mental health services. It does not compute why you would actually build a new jail and have, again, even fewer resources, presumably, if you've spent the money on that, instead of putting the resources in the communities.
Coming up in just under 20 minutes, my conversation with Kim Pate and Lisa Piercy, whose daughter died inside the Correctional Centre for Women in May.
A woman who sued the federal government over sexual harassment and discrimination within RCMP ranks says complaints still aren't being taken seriously. Former Corporal Janet Merlot says she was promised change at the formal national apology 2 years ago, but nothing has happened. Now she's speaking out after the suicide of RCMP colleague and friend Krista Carlet. Merlot says she regularly receives messages from male and female officers who are on the brink of suicide. Now she's sending daily messages to the Prime Minister and the head of the RCMP.
Every day I'm going to ask Mr. Trudeau and Mr. Goodale and Ms. Lucky a question, and my question today is, have you ever gone to work and had your supervisor grab you, put you in a headlock, pull their loaded handgun, put it to your skull, and ask you to beg for your life while all your male colleagues laugh and think it's a joke? People need to know. They need to see that this is not a joke and that we weren't just a bunch of what were we called? Snowflakes that were weak and shouldn't have been in the police force to begin with.
Well, that's just part of reporter Mark Quinn's conversation with former Corporal Janet Merlot. In about 25 minutes, more from Merlot about the unexpected death of her friend and RCMP colleague, Krista Carlet.
A Rocky Harbour man was left with a wet, moldy mess after a winter flood. Warm temperatures combined with heavy rains on January 13th pushed water throughout John Grant's home. And now, months later, he says the government won't help with repair costs. Here Now's Colleen Connors has this report from Rocky Harbour.
Mold is growing up the walls and on the furniture. It smells musty and the air is thick.
And I almost broke down. It was just pure sewage left over, pools of water from one end of the house to the back bedrooms right out to the front door. It was just completely swamped.
Grant says in January, the heavy rain and melting ice flooded the town's infrastructure, sending sewer water through his tub jets and shower, flooding his house.
And I opened the living room door, and since I put my foot down, it's like walking on a sponge. You could feel the water in the carpet.
Down the road, Grant's neighbor had the same problem.
The pressure broke my back water valve, and I had over $20,000 worth of damage in the basement. I had 2 sump pumps and a bucket brigade going.
Elford blames the manhole across the street.
When that manhole bubbles up, I know I'm in trouble, but in January the cover actually lifted.
Elford was able to fix the water damage in her basement, but Grant is still living with the flood aftermath. His insurance company says he didn't have the appropriate coverage, and the province could only afford to put him up in a hotel for a week, and he couldn't afford to get another place.
They announced that, yes, there's money available. If they don't have insurance, their insurance company doesn't cover it. And so far, other than the AESL, nobody in the government has done a thing except pass the buck.
Grant applied for the disaster funding, but so far has heard nothing. CBC requested information, but the province would not comment, saying the Disaster Financial Assistance Program received 123 claims during the January flood, and each claim is assessed case by case.
basically 6 weeks' time, it's going to start getting cold here again. And this house has to be fixed in some way, shape or form to keep the outside outside.
Colleen Connors, CBC News, Rocky Harbour.
The Newfoundland distillery has new flavors hitting store shelves. Today, the company launched its gunpowder and rose rum and its rhubarb-flavored vodka at an event at Raymond's restaurant. The new products join a growing line for the Clark's Beach Company that uses local ingredients. The two new flavors should be on NLC store shelves later this month.
And we tried to use real gunpowder and the essential ingredients, but it was really hard with Health Canada to convince them that it was food safe. So in the end we thought it'd be more straightforward to use similar ingredients that will create the same flavors, and we could use them all from Newfoundland. So in a sense we think it worked out better.
I think why are we doing this in the first place, and how can we do this as best as possible?
Some engineering students from Memorial University are back with their Hyperloop. Next, we'll show you how the team is planning a comeback and hoping their technology will transform the transportation industry. Welcome back to Here and Now. A family in Gander has taken in 6 abandoned baby birds and are nursing them back to health. The 6 starlings were found alone at a construction site this month, and as Here and Now's Garrett Berry found out, they grow on you pretty quickly.
snack time. Some for her and some for them.
Like this.
Is it yucky?
No.
Only babies.
I'm 2 years old.
You're 2 years old. And how old are the birds?
20 months old. 20 days.
It's hard to tell who is more excited.
There's 6 baby birds, yep. So like I said, it's full house, definitely.
And one more. It's so busy, this has been put to another use.
They need to be fed every 45 minutes for 12 hours of the day.
Good thing she's home and has a helper.
She really enjoys it. Every time my alarm goes off or I say, okay, time to feed the baby bird, she's like, I'm coming too, Mom.
There's a reason why we're all wearing these scarves. Cassidy says that we don't want these little birds to get confused and start to think that I'm their mom. Hard to believe, I know. Awkward for me, but a pretty big problem for the survival of these starlings.
Cassidy's house, Cassidy's rules.
If there was just one bird and all they're seeing is you feed them and they're seeing your face, they associate you with food, they can imprint on you, and then releasing them into the wild may not even be possible at all.
Only a couple of days left.
They are the ghosts. Their mommy and daddy flew away.
Before these birds are released to the greenhouse first and then into the wild.
It'll be nice to see them go, and hopefully, who knows, maybe in years to come they'll come back and nest here, which will be kind of neat to see.
The hardest part of taking them in might be saying goodbye. Garrett Berry, CBC News.
They say, Mommy.
Gander.
Well, that was a whole lot of adorable, for sure. In other news tonight, Paradigm Hyperloop is trying to stage a comeback. Last year, the joint MUN and Northeastern University team was at the top of its game. Students placed second in the world at a renowned engineering competition, but this year, when they reapplied, things didn't go as planned. Here Now's Katie Breen has that story.
Last year's success. Up against teams with full-time resources, Paradigm Hyperloop was the extracurricular team that could.
It was incredible, to be honest. Just a lot of pride that so many hours went into it and a lot of different people committed to it. It's also really amazing to think that a group of students from Newfoundland and our sister school in Boston as well can compete on a world level like that.
They designed, manufactured, and raced this pod. It reached 101 kilometers an hour, earning them second place. The team was riding on that momentum until their proposal for this year's competition was rejected.
It felt like a big barrier was placed in front of us, but it also was a bit inspirational. It gave us the opportunity to step back and look at what we value on this project.
Now they're working on a new pod, hoping to get back on that international stage next time.
Ultimately, this design, when it's finished, will have everything riding on it.
They say in 5 years, Hyperloop technology could transform the transportation industry. Pods can reach alarmingly fast speeds because they move in vacuum tubes with less friction.
The best way to think about this is like an air hockey table. So we actually levitate with this one and our next one. We're going to be levitating on a really thin film of air. So if you think of an air hockey table, when you turn it on, air shoots out of the bottom and the puck actually floats on that very thin film of air.
Hyperloop looks like this when it gets going. And while the idea sounds simple, Paradigm made history last year, doing things differently than the competition, setting themselves apart. And after this year's setback, they plan to take their innovation to the next level.
These big tanks you see on the side of the vehicle are actually scuba tanks. And on the new model, we're only going to need the equivalent of one of those, and it's actually going to be lighter than one of the ones you see on this vehicle.
Same air-bearing concept, but they plan to shrink the pod in half and cut a third of the weight. Some members will go to California to stake out the competition this weekend. Then they plan to perfect their proposal to make the cut for the next race, possibly in 2019.
If I can push the team with everyone else's help to a place where we can compete again, I'll be more than thrilled to get down there and get our new vehicle in the tube and show that we can actually compete with some of these other international schools.
Katie Breen, CBC News, St. John's.
We see the jails full of people who are poor. We see the jails full of people who have had past trauma, who may have anesthetized themselves with drugs or alcohol. We see people with mental health issues in prisons.
A Canadian senator who fights for inmates meets the mother of a woman who died in jail, and she tours Her Majesty's Penitentiary.
Our update is brought to you by Take Charge Business Efficiency Program. Over 570 businesses have saved energy and taken charge of their bottom line. Find out how you can too.
Welcome back. So as you can tell, it's just the two of us tonight.
Yep, we're tag teaming tonight on the desk.
You're doing a little bit of double duty.
Yep.
A little bit of weather, a little bit of news.
And there is quite a bit of weather to talk about, actually, at least in the eastern portion of the island. I was going to start with the satellite and some of this moisture that's being drawn up by this southwesterly flow, bringing lots of rain to the eastern portion of the island tonight. So yeah, we're in for some messy weather. There is a special weather statement in effect for the southern Avalon, and that's because of the possibility of some localized downpours, up to 30 millimeters possible in that area tonight. And we do still have this fog advisory in effect for a good chunk of the south coast as well. So this is what we're looking at overnight tonight. This is all the moisture that's being drawn up over across the Avalon Peninsula and the Burin Peninsula. You can see here at 3 a.m. that's kind of when the heaviest showers are expected, and it's looking like a risk of thunder showers overnight tonight in the St. John's area, the northern Avalon, 10 to 15 millimeters of rain there. But as you go south, the potential for a bit more rain, 30 millimeters of rain. You can see 16 degrees in the east overnight tonight, so it's going to be pretty muggy still in the overnight hours, and pretty clear there as you head west. For Labrador, you're looking at possibility of a few showers in Lab City overnight tonight. But Friday, you can see this system starts to move away and then things clear off very nicely. A potential for a few showers in Labrador, but the island just looking fantastic. You can see Placentia, Ferryland, there's a chance that you could see some morning showers, but as the day goes on, that should clear off. St. John's looking at a high of 23 degrees tomorrow. And the temperature really bumps up too as you head into the central areas. Grand Falls, Windsor, a beautiful sunny day coming for you, super hot, 29 degrees. And that's pretty much the story right over to the west coast. Temperatures approaching the 30-degree mark with lots of sunshine. Heading up through the Straits, Mary's Harbour, another hot day coming for you. That's pretty much the name of the game for a lot of places in the province tomorrow. In Labrador, though, there is a chance of some showers, not a huge amount, about 2 to 4 millimeters for Labrador City, and a potential for some showers in Churchill Falls, and 20 degrees as the high there. So how is the weekend looking? I will have those details coming up. Ariana?
Thanks, Carolyn. A grieving mother and a Canadian senator met in Clarenville yesterday. Lisa Piercy has been waiting for someone to listen to her pleas since her daughter Samantha died in a Clarenville jail in May. Senator Kim Pate toured the Women's Correctional Center and HMP. I sat down with Senator Pate and Lisa Piercy earlier today.
Well, it's not the first time I've been to either of them. I've been to Clarenville before, as well as to Her Majesty's Penitentiary. In fact, the first time I was at Her Majesty's Penitentiary was about 24 years ago. And part of the reason I was coming to Newfoundland at the time was because they were closing Wings of the Waterford, and there were some real concerns about women being housed actually in the lockup here. And at that time, the superintendent of the jail was actually asking me to speak out, in part because they were concerned they were going to end up seeing more women with mental health issues in prison, which, you know, paradoxically and horribly, almost a quarter of a century later, here we are, and it's worse than ever.
Lisa, you also wanted to go into the Clarenville Centre yesterday. What happened when you got there?
I was just looking for permission just to stay in the parking lot for a little bit of time, because I felt close to my daughter there. And basically told no, even when I pointed out the far end of the parking lot and everything, because of privacy issues with the other inmates.
Have you felt heard throughout this process? Have you felt heard by government officials and prison officials?
No. No, I still haven't heard from the Minister of Justice or the Premier.
What would you like to see happen in the interim before Marlene Jesso speaks with you and completes her investigation?
I believe there should be some mental health nurses in the prisons now. Not a year down the road. I think they should be there now. Dr. Craig, I believe he should be suspended until at least the investigation is done. That's two things right away that should be done. To the best of my knowledge, neither is done. It seems so much silence. It's me phoning and practically begging for more information. It's not them phoning me. And it should be the other way around. I should not have to fight to find out what happened to my daughter.
What has happened to Lisa has happened to far too many families, and the fact that people don't know what's happening, the fact that there are so many limitations on not just the information while after prisoners have died, but also while they're alive, access to, most families want to visit, and most people who are in prison want to have visits. But there are all kinds of other things that get in the way, things like whether people are segregated, strip searching, all of the issues that limit. And, you know, as Lisa said, there are things that could be done right away, and some of the things that could be done right away, in addition to having a mental, you know, if a mental health nurse is going to be there, one of the issues the mental health nurse should be able to say is, in their opinion, this person could be in a community setting awaiting trial, or their sentence, they could be getting support, addiction support, mental health support in the community.
When she was first had to go out there, actually I believed she was going to get the help she needed. I was told there's an abundance of programs, and there's none, and especially for somebody on remand, because she wasn't convicted, she was there on remand. And there is not an abundance of programs. It's far from it.
No. It's heartbreaking to me to hear how many times when parents, particularly mums, have been told that. And, you know, we don't need any more deaths in prison to have a reason to address this issue.
How many more people have to take their lives, and how many more families have to lose somebody they love? How many more children, like Krista's children, need to spend their lives without a parent?
Her friend is dead. Now a former RCMP officer says enough. She says nothing is being done to stop workplace harassment.
Kitty Vitty has always been an integral part of life in St. John's.
As we gear up for the regatta, join CBC as we share other stories of the lake. Unique buildings, eccentric characters, and some wild parties.
Tourists walk in with a camera around their neck, looking around, say, oh, sorry, we didn't know this was private residence.
I don't think people knew quite what to make of him. He wanted everything elegant and just so.
They used to have these big shows touring all the bases everywhere, all over the world. So as part of that, I think Frank Sinatra was here one time.
Down at the Lake, a 4-part series starting Monday on Here and Now.
And welcome back to Here and Now. An RCMP whistleblower says she won't stop fighting for change within the force. Janet Merlot was shocked to hear of the death of her friend and former colleague Krista Carlet. The 53-year-old committed suicide in BC earlier this month. Both women have been outspoken in their fight against sexual harassment and discrimination within the RCMP. Merlot sat down with Here and Now's Mark Quinn.
She was a mentor to a lot of people because she really seemed to have it together. Like, she was always very calm and together and pleasant, and when you're having a bad day and you needed a friendly ear, it was Krista that you would reach out to. You know.
What was your reaction when you found out that she had died?
I just totally broke down. Nobody saw it coming. We all kept in touch and we all reached out to each other and talked when we had a bad day, and yeah, nobody saw it coming. Her daughter had just graduated from high school a couple of weeks prior, and she had posted the pictures and she looked so happy, and she'd had a hard run over the last couple of years. She'd had a couple of times where she needed to go to the hospital and get her medications together or changed, and she was doing really good. Everyone thought she was doing really well. Even her sister never said nobody in the family saw it coming.
And would you say that her case was an isolated case?
From what I hear, I can't confirm it, but there's been 4 suicides in the last 6 weeks in Canada of RCMP members or former RCMP members. And that's part of where I now feel anger, because I think, how many more people have to do this? How many more people? I got home from my holiday the other day, and there was a message on my messenger on Facebook from this lady saying, you know, I'm scared I'm going to be the next one.
There have been so many promises that things would be fixed and the RCMP issues would be addressed. Do you feel like they've been doing that?
No. They talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. We were promised, and it's legislated now in our class action settlement, the change initiatives that they promised to do within the force. But shortly after the settlement was announced, Paulson retired as commissioner, and then they were, I don't know, months and months without anybody running the show, and then they appointed Brenda Lucky, and we all thought, finally, you know, they've taken their time and they've chosen somebody who will make a difference. And then she got up a couple of weeks ago and said that the RCMP wasn't broken. I think maybe she thinks the RCMP isn't broken, but its members are. They're reaching out daily, weekly. I hear from women who have almost 20 years in, they don't know how they're going to get through the last 18 months or the last 6 months, that they're pushed right to the brink. And there's a lot of men too. And I think it's going to take an outside entity to go into the force and clean house.
So tell me about what you're doing now. I mean, in terms of social media, you're posting questions for leaders. What are you doing now with that?
Every day I'm going to ask Mr. Trudeau and Mr. Goodale and Ms. Lucky a question. And my question today is, have you ever gone to work and had your supervisor grab you, put you in a headlock, pull their loaded handgun, put it to your skull, and ask you to beg for your life while all your male colleagues laugh and think it's a joke? Or do you know of anybody that's happened to? And I do, because I've heard that from one of the ladies. So every day I've read the statements of so many women who've reached out to me over the last few years, that I've heard hundreds of these incidents. And it's sad, because I had to put at the bottom a disclaimer saying this allegation hasn't been proven in court because it will never get to court.
And you've been dealing with this for a long time. Do you think, and you're very outspoken, and here you are speaking again, do you think you can keep this up? Will you continue?
I will. If not for me, it's too late for me. My career is over, but in memory of Krista and Ron Francis and all the other members that we know that have taken their lives, and just wanting nothing more than a safe, respectable workplace. That's all anybody is asking for. So until they start doing something, I will post daily and let the Canadian public know what we've heard in these women's statements and lived experiences over the last few years, because people need to know. They need to see that this is not a joke, and that we weren't just a bunch of what were we called? Snowflakes that were weak and shouldn't have been in the police force to begin with.
In other news tonight, a Quebec police officer was found guilty today of dangerous driving causing the death of a 5-year-old boy. The officer, Patrick Ouellette, was on surveillance duty near Montreal 5 years ago when he hit a car driven by the father of Nicholas Thorne-Balance. The little boy died in hospital a few days later. At Ouellette's trial last month, court heard he was driving more than 120 kilometers an hour in a 50-kilometer zone.
Canada's 13 premiers began their annual meeting in New Brunswick today. 2 days of talks on a wide range of issues, including trade, both with the U.S. and between provinces, was supposed to be at the top of the list. That was until Ontario's new premier made an announcement this morning.
Ontario will support Saskatchewan in intervening in the reference case they have launched with the Court of Appeal. This is an important step in the fight against the federal carbon tax.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
Doug Ford says he's joining forces with Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe in a legal challenge against Ottawa's climate change plan. Ford's newly elected government has already scrapped Ontario's own cap-and-trade program.
A new home for these precious honeybees. Coming up next on Here and Now, we'll tell you about their daring rescue and speak to the man who saved them.
It's time now to meet our first athlete of the day. This is 8-year-old Aiden Atkinson from St. John's. Aiden plays hockey with the St. John's Caps during the hockey season, and in the summer he likes to play soccer.
He's been in soccer since he was 3 and hockey since he was 4. Congratulations, Aiden.
Our next athlete is Ava Rubia. She's 5 years old from St. John's. She does gymnastics at Campia Gymnastics.
She also enjoys participating in ballet and swimming. Congratulations to you, Ava. Time now to have a look at the long-range forecast and see how the weekend is shaping up. First, I'm going to start with some highs today. A beautiful day for St. John's. We did have quite a big downpour a little bit earlier today, but much of the day was quite nice. 25 degrees, a very, very balmy day in St. John's. Balmy really right across the island and as well for parts of Labrador today. So some very nice temperatures. Once again, we still do have this fog advisory in effect for parts of the south coast. So if you're going to be in that area traveling, visibility may be an issue for the next while. Plus, we have this special weather statement in effect for the southern Avalon. A chance of some more really heavy downpours, about 30 millimeters possible. So you can see here with the system coming up where that could happen at around 2 a.m. tonight. St. John's and most of the Avalon looks like they're going to be in some pretty hardcore rain, possibly some thunderstorms as well. But as we move into Friday, a few showers for Labrador, but the island is looking just fantastic. Here's the picture for tomorrow. St. John's, a mix of sun and cloud, 23 degrees as the high tomorrow. For the central areas, approaching 30 degrees, so it's going to be a real scorcher again in parts of central, Grand Falls, Windsor, sunshine, really warm, as well as along the west coast there. Heading up to Labrador, very similar story there. Happy Valley, Goose Bay, 25 degrees there for tomorrow as you head into the weekend, and for Labrador City, a little bit cooler with the chance of showers there, and 19 degrees as the high tomorrow. So Friday night, if you're heading out Friday night and you're wondering if you should put on a jacket, well, it's looking pretty good. You can see no precipitation across the island Friday night. Here we are at 3 a.m. and looking good across Labrador as well. A few showers looking to make its way in overnight, but Saturday so far is looking fantastic. So if you're going out to do anything on Saturday, it's looking pretty good. In Labrador, we do have this possibility of some showers though. So temperatures on Saturday, 21 degrees in the east with a mix of sun and cloud, and a real scorcher for the central areas and as well for western Newfoundland with 30 degrees, lots of sunshine, a mix of sun and cloud for eastern Labrador and 28 degrees, and that chance of showers for western Labrador there and 27 as the high on Saturday. Now as we get into Sunday, there is a chance on the island that we could see a few showers in the afternoon. So yes, chance of showers for St. John's, 21 degrees as the high there, sun and cloud, and 30 degrees for central, and that chance of showers in western Labrador on Sunday. So as we head into the work week, we're looking at a bit more wet weather moving in and some cloudy skies for the east as well as for central areas, but temperatures staying nice and warm as we head into the week, and western Newfoundland as well, looking at some showers next week. Chances showers for western Labrador, still those temperatures in the low to mid 20s, and eastern Labrador, similar story there. Some wet weather on the way as you begin your work week. So that's your forecast. Now I want to tell you about a story. We've heard about all kinds of animal rescues, whales from nets, cats from trees, but what about rescuing a hive of honeybees from a high voltage transformer yard? Well, that's what happened yesterday when the owner of Adelaide's Honeybee Reserve got a phone call from the operations manager at the Avalon Mall, where some major construction is underway. So we visited the bees' new home earlier today. So Paul, you have some new tenants here on your property. You actually rescued these bees yesterday. Tell us what happened.
We had a call yesterday morning around 9 o'clock from the operations manager at the Avalon Mall, and he said they had a honeybee swarm actually against the wall of the building of the mall in a transformer yard. I was amazed when I got there to see, like, it was so much, they're under major construction and renovations there, and the bees were actually, the very first thing that met me as I got to the gate was high power, voltage, beware, stay out, and all this. But,
and you were like, oh, I got to go in there and get these bees out.
Yeah, and I said, well, first we're gonna, they were great. The management of the mall basically said, you know, we'll guide you how to get in there, and sure enough, there was a swarm about the size of a basketball against the wall, and we basically just took our time with them. Because of the way they were flat against the wall, we had to just basically, with gloves, I used my hands and just kind of scoop the bees up and put them in the hive, and now they're here on our reserve.
Wow. And were you surprised to see the bees set up shop, I guess, in that kind of area.
I was actually quite surprised because many times they'll go up to a tree or the side of a house or something like that, but to see them in a actual, which is right now a construction site on the side of the mall in a transformer yard, it's the first time that I've ever seen that, and it was great. Everything we planned it well, and it took our time, and now the bees are safe and here. So.
And no one got stung?
No stings, not one, and not a sting, and they were really calm. And once they got put in the hive, the majority of the bees, and the queen is the most important. Once the queen gets in there, because she's releasing a pheromone, a scent for the other bees to follow. So once the queen went in there, the other bees started fanning and saying, "This is the way home," and the other bees started following in.
How important is it to make sure we protect honeybees?
Well, just to give you an example, and I'll use the rest of Canada. Right now, honeybees are under threat all over the world. Okay, they're losing their habitat. They've got pesticides and nicotinoids that are being used, so they're dealing with that. They've got this mite called the Varroa destructor. If you can imagine a pie plate stuck to your side, drinking your blood and fluids inside the hive and eating the young, these things, they've got that. They've got loss of habitat, they've got these mites, plus they've got all these diseases. So if you look in Canada, for example, all across the country, there's been losses in beehives up from 30 to 90% that have just died. And that's what they talk about as colony collapse disorder. So here we are, we have never lost a beehive and very few beekeepers, they do lose them in Newfoundland. A lot of times it's from not enough experience and starvation, but we don't have the problems they have in the rest of the world. So we've got to really cherish that. We got to protect our wildflowers. We got to not use pesticides and these chemicals. And if people like to grow vegetables and flowers around their houses, you will not believe the difference in all your flowers and berries and apples if you have a colony next door. It's amazing.
I love that story. I love these. Tonight we have part 2 in our do-it-yourself car repair guide. It's designed to help people feel less intimidated by some basic vehicle maintenance. And tonight, mechanic and car enthusiast Kelly Denine takes us through changing a tire.
Most people at some point in their life, especially living around here with all these potholes, has gotten a flat tire. And changing a flat tire on the side of the road can be a daunting task if you've never done it before. Before you jack up the vehicle, you're going to want to loosen the nuts, because if not, they're going to be too tight when you jack it up and the wheel is just going to spin. Run your fingers along the bottom of the rocker panel of the car and you can actually feel the access point where you install the jack. Use the wrench that was located in your spare tire compartment to raise the jack by attaching it to the nut here and turning it in a clockwise direction like this. Now that we've got the tire off the ground, we're going to use our wrench to remove those lug nuts by attaching our wrench to the nut and turning it in a counterclockwise direction like this. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to remove the tire. Grasp the rim firmly with both hands and pull it off the vehicle, rolling it out of the way. Now that we've got the old tire removed, we'll grab our spare dummy and roll it over to the car. Pick it up and maneuver it so that way the bolt holes line up with the bolts. Hold the wheel firmly against the hub when you're screwing on the nuts. Make sure you screw them on in a clockwise direction like this until they're finger tight. Now that our car is safely back on the ground, we're going to use our lug wrench to just check those nuts one more time so we don't lose a tire while we're out on the highway.
Welcome back to Here and Now. This next story is about a top athlete in a sport where seconds matter.
And when Nova Scotia kayaker Mark DeYoung isn't training for his 2020 Olympic dream, he's keeping time in a different way. Colleen Jones explains.
You want to just paddle up here? Morning time on Kearney Lake. Mark DeYoung, after taking a year off, is back on the water. His discipline, the K1 200. It's all about power, speed, and of course time. He trains hours every day for a race that lasts just 34 seconds, and races are won and lost by thousandths of a second.
At this point, I'm trying to shave down thousandths of a second every day. So I think as athletes, we sort of have an obsession with time.
Which brings me to his hobby. When he's not shaving milliseconds off his race times, he's here at Eureka Tech in Lower Sackville, building watches.
Yeah, so I had to fit that little guy on here.
What's the size of that?
0.2 millimeters.
Carefully placing the minuscule second hand to the watch face.
In sport, I've been told I need to meditate to clear my mind and, get used to, getting better performance out of that. So this is kind of like meditation, but it actually, produces something.
How he got into watchmaking is more than his fascination about time. While training takes up a lot of time, he found he did have free time that he didn't want to waste.
I just thought to myself, I can't be watching Netflix in my time off. Time is precious, and what am I going to do with it? So it just sort of started as a project that I wanted to spend better quality time outside of training doing.
Learning to become a watchmaker takes time. He started with the design and building a prototype.
In the same way that I developed myself as an athlete, I sort of developed myself as a watchmaker.
With his DeYoung brand, he's trying to create a piece that stands the test of time.
I like the idea of being able to pass down a watch through generations. I'm just going to take it down to 200 meters.
He pressure tests each piece to make sure it's waterproof.
Put that in the water.
Then Mohammed Isa laser etches the Canadian flag, and every watch is numbered. He might not ever be able to compete with the big global brands like Rolex or Timex, but that was never the point. His journey is all about time well spent. Colleen Jones, CBC News, Halifax.
And if you're wondering how much one of those cost, you just looked it up and it's just under $400.
Pricey, but worth it.
Well, with time off this summer, many children are enrolled in sports camps, focusing on one game in a quest to really excel.
But pediatricians now say that could cause lifelong health problems. Christine Burek explains.
Practice makes perfect, right? Well, not always. When it comes to children in sports, mounting evidence shows playing one sport year-round can do more harm than good, psychologically and physically.
First of all, we're noticing that the number of pediatric sports injuries has just exploded over the last several decades.
It's called sports specialization, and it's happening in every major game. Kids as young as 6 playing a single sport for more than 8 months a year. Some think it's how you build a star player, but Dr. Sasha Carson says the trend is associated with increasing rates of burnout, sports withdrawal, and overuse injuries that can be life-altering.
The areas of skeletal growth are under a lot of pressure and are quite sensitive. And so disrupting them or putting them through too much strain can actually change skeletal development itself.
I started playing competitive, so it would be 4, 5, sometimes 6 times a week.
Without warning, Connor Cose's hip popped during a game. He was carried off the ice and rushed to hospital by his mother.
It's pretty terrifying. Sorry, it's hard because, it's not why you take him to hockey.
At 15, Connor needed surgery on both of his hips due to repetitive strain injuries. He'll never play hockey competitively again.
Made me a better striker.
A better pitcher.
While the impacts of specialization may come as a surprise to some parents, sports organizations are well aware of the research, even sponsoring public service announcements.
So change it up.
But while they're urging kids to play more than one sport and diversify their skills and muscle use, youth leagues are encouraging families to invest in summer camps and extra training.
It's definitely a conflict of interest for me, but the majority of kids that we get want to be here in the summer and participate in a full-day camp.
Experts say specialization makes more sense for self-driven athletes in their late teens. But at this age, the goal is simple: Have fun. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
And here's our viewer photo of the day. Probably seeing a lot of these around right now. Lovely lupins, gorgeous flowers. Thank you very much, Lisa Kennedy, for sending this in. This was taken in Witless Bay.
Nice, beautiful, beautiful. I actually have some in my living room.
Nice.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll be back tomorrow.
Good night.